Cover habit number 2. This is my last broadcast on my side because my battery is low. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. I'm going to say some things that are going to piss people off. I'm going to say some things that are completely true, or at least 99.9% of the truth, and you're going to take this shit any way you want. Alright? First and foremost, again, you're going to take this any way you want, but I'm going to be telling you the truth. You can side with me or side against me. It doesn't matter. The point of the matter is that there's no such thing as a superior martial art. There are only superior martial artists in that style of martial arts, i.e., the more you know. If you are grounded in more than one martial art, you have a good chance of winning many fights. Where if you only learn one martial art, you still have a good chance of winning many fights, but it also depends on the situation and who you're fighting. I understand that does translate to everybody, because it really does depend on who you're fighting versus what style they're using against you. Alright? Now, I say that honestly because the truth be told is that, alright, one, I don't do BJJ. I fucking suck at it. Does that mean a BJJ guy can kick my ass? Fuck no. What it means is that I gotta work harder to make sure that the BJJ guy does not kick my ass. I have done demonstrations with my nephews to show you how to escape certain BJJ moves. I taught them what little bit of BJJ that I learned in Delta Company in the Army. I sucked at it then. I suck at it now. I will always hate BJJ because I suck at it. Even if I practice and earn a belt or whatever, I still will never rely on BJJ because the truth of the matter is, in all people who fight, the biggest lie ever told is that all fights go to the ground. That is horse shit. That is bullshit. Some fighters in a fight goes to the ground. Not all fights go to the ground. And you don't have to go to the ground when the guy goes down. Even if he has a lock on you, your body positioning is everything. If he's locked around this leg and you put this leg on him and that leg on him, you are still up and you are still having the ability to grab him. Now, let me see if I can word this right so that people won't call me phony, fake, false prophet, sham artist, hustler, con man, etc. Alright, here's the thing. You can learn from phony martial arts too. I can't promise you that shit's gonna work, but I can promise you that you can learn from it and learn how to make shit work. As I have told you before, when I first started taking Taekwondo, Master Ennis would not teach me the tornado kick. Okay? When I took Kempo, I learned the hurricane kick. The exact same kick. Alright? When my hip worked, the other way looked better. And I could always go from that straight to a sequence. Like so. So, we go left, boom, and in there. As you can see, it ain't working now. I also would prefer to be on flatter ground. It works better on flat ground versus the grass. But when you are in a fight, you generally don't get an option of where you're fighting because you've been attacked. So whether you're on the street, or on the ground, or on the grass, you're going to need to be able to pull shit off. Two things I've always said in a fight. One, never more than 1 foot should ever leave the ground in a fight. Unless you're making a movie, or unless you're training, you will never ever in your life really get the chance to use the tornado kick or the hurricane kick unless it's also sports karate. Same thing with this. 9 times out of 10, the second that your back is turned on your enemy, you're eating dirt. Understand that shit. I learned that kick you just saw from Brian Genesis, Street Justice TV show, and Billy Worth, Acapulco H.E.A.T. And again, Master Ennis would not teach me, and my Kempo instructor would not teach me. I watched that shit on TV. So to tell you that you cannot learn from somebody phony would be to tell you a lie. I learned from TV those two kicks, the tornado and the reverse tornado. Now granted, my shit ain't nowhere good as Brian Genesis, Michael Worth, or Jason David Frank. My shit ain't nowhere as pretty as their shit. Alright? But in a real fight, you don't have time to be pretty. Because pretty is just something that you do in the movies. Alright? And also, in the movies, editing is a god. But in real life, if you think you're going to pull that shit off, I promise you, you're probably not. It's the same thing with like front foot sweep versus the circle bottom foot sweep. Both are effective. But I'm going to tell you this. If you're going to use a foot sweep, this is not the one you're going to use. Because you're turning your back on your opponent. So if you're going to use a foot sweep, you're going to use that one. The reason why is because you, depending on your style, have a better ability to do this foot sweep versus and not being able to come up. Unless you do capoeira. Now if you do capoeira, there's an exception to every rule. Everyone who knows if you do that foot sweep in capoeira, it's coming back with a backhand spring. Okay? Or a pancake, or a kick up, or some shit like that. Now, in real life, when you're fighting with capoeira, you need to be fast, and you need to be quick, and you need to be consistently, because capoeira, just like every other martial art, including Kung Fu, has a weakness. The weakness is the human doing it. Alright? You didn't think I was going to go there, right? Of course you didn't. Because here's that thing. Martial arts in itself is an idea. It is a thought. It is a movement. It is a system of fighting. The martial artist is the user of that system of fighting. Which goes back to, there are no superior martial arts. There are only superior martial artists. So, you need to know what you can and can't use in a fight. Understand that shit. Now this is my opinion. This is my opinion. You don't have to fucking believe it, and that's fine. I know enough of capoeira to get the fuck out of the way when that motherfucker gets to rolling. But what I don't understand is how these motherfuckers don't get dizzy while they're doing that shit. Alright? It's the same thing with Kung Fu, Wushu, and Drunken Master. When you start doing those high-flying maneuvers that involve you doing 550s and 340s and all these fucking turns, how do y'all not get dizzy? But the problem on that is really quite simple. The problem on that is really quite simple. How safe are you when you leave the ground? I'm sure nobody's going to say anything about that because no one wants to tell you the truth. You are not safe when you are in the air throwing these kicks. So when I tell people if you get into a fight with martial arts, you want to keep at least one foot on the ground because you want to do basic shit. Basic shit is going to save your ass. Fancy shit is going to get your ass kicked. This is basic. Front kick. Boom. Inside to outside crescent kick. Boom. Outside to inside crescent kick. Boom. Those are basic shit. Front kick. Boom. Jumping front kick. Boom. You see, I don't put too much emphasis on that jump. Because if I jump and you sidestep and sweep my foot, I'm going to be on my back. And I better know something when I get on the back if I don't get knocked unconscious when my head hits the fucking ground. You see where I'm going with that? That's called the reality check of having your foot swept from under you while you're in the air. And if you haven't had that done to you, I will promise you that it is not a pleasant experience. I'm speaking from experience. I have had that done to me, which is why I won, still won, but I learned from that shit. Keep at least one foot on the ground at all fucking times as possible. Someone's running at you, boom, a basic front kick can stop them. You may not believe that shit because you watch too much TV, but a basic front kick, well placed, face, throat, sternum, a well placed front kick, boom, will stop them. A well placed side kick, boom, it's going to stop them. Versus this shit, boom. You missed that shit, all of this is done. Why do you even need to do that? It's a power kick, it's a finisher. It's the same thing with a tornado kick. That shit looks cool in the movies. It's great for the movies. And in real life, you're gonna die. Yeah, I said it. You're gonna die. Because if you come against somebody who's a fucking ace, and they have been studying you, but you don't know they've been studying you, and they run up on you, and the first thing you say is, I got this one. I'm gonna jump and spinning back kick this motherfucker. And that sumbitch slides under. Blah! Woo! Ow! Ew! And not to mention, that's before you hit the fucking ground. Because you know, you're gonna hit the ground. You're not a Power Ranger, you're gonna hit the ground. You're gonna hit the ground fucking hard. Because your momentum times their momentum equals catastrophe. And that's the thing that they're not telling you in these videos that you're watching. This is also probably the reason why no one's following me. Because I tell the fucking truth. The martial art fantasy is great until you actually get into a motherfucking fight. It's a different ball game when you're in the fight versus watching someone fight. Alright? We're all sitting at a UFC event. It's cool. You're not going to see too much of the shit you just saw me do. You may see one guy try to pull that shit off. And yes, I have seen people pull off the tornado kick and the reverse tornado kick in rec and in the UFC. It didn't really land, which is the problem. If that kick doesn't land, it's not going to do either one of you any good. The fact that they've done it and didn't get their foot swept from under them was because whoever they were fighting against just wasn't trained for that shit. And that's why I say you have to be well-rounded in everything. When you are going to fight your opponent, if you are a professional fighter, you can chime in on this right now. You study your fucking fight opponent. Day, week, month before that fight. And if you're not studying that fight opponent, let me get close. If you are not studying the motherfucker that you gotta fight for a big purse, if you're not studying their videos, if you're not studying their fights, you need to punch your coach in the nuts. You need to straight punch your coach dead in the fucking nuts or the throat. Because he should be insisting that you, the professional fighter, is watching the guy that you're gonna get in the ring with. Because going into a fight, no matter whether it be on the street or be in the octagon or wherever you're gonna fight at, going into the fight unprepared, not knowing what this person is capable of, is going into a losing battle. And you don't want to go into a losing battle. It's just that simple. So I'm going to end this with this. I had to learn my tornado kick and reverse tornado kick from TV. So you can learn from TV. You need to practice those moves, but I almost guarantee you, you will never use the reverse tornado kick in a real fight. You will never use a tornado kick in a real fight. Those are finishing moves. If you are in a situation where you are blessed enough to pull that shit off, please leave me a message. In fact, please record it and let me see that shit. Because I almost guarantee you, if you're fighting more than 2 people, that basic shit, where you see me do some shit like this, I'm gonna kick this guy, boom, and then that guy, that's real shit. Versus you see me do this, boom, 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 boom. That tornado kick was useless. And if he ducked it, my foot wasn't on the ground, which means he could have swept that foot and put me on the ground. So understand this, boom, boom, that's more effective than this, boom, boom. Because one, I turned my back, but both of those are real kicks that you can use, versus this, boom, boom, boom. Looks good, right? Looks great for the movies. Then you have this. Boom. Boom. Now the thing about that is, that front kick probably would have neutralized him. That follow through tornado kick, if I missed the front kick, and that follow through tornado kick, if I missed that, I'm going to sleep. There's a downside to everything, people. There are no superior martial artists without superior pain. But as far as the martial arts itself, there are no superior martial arts. Because the one thing, when you guys are arguing, and you will, Kung Fu is better, Karate is better, Taekwondo, Karate, Kempo, they all have valid things in them. None is better than the other. It's the motherfucker using it on you that is good. Otherwise, the style is just there. Try to remember that. Style is a style. And there are millions, there are billions. Because more martial arts styles are evolving and changing daily. And my hair looks a hot mess. But there are only superior martial artists versus superior martial arts. You guys can come at me with fucking shit if you want, but I'm telling you the truth. There are things in martial arts that you are absolutely not going to use. And there are things in martial arts that you can only use. 70-30. 70% of that shit that I just talked about will only work in the dojo. Like those tornado kicks. 30% of the shit that won't work in the dojo is the basic shit. Because the basic shit, you already know, everybody knows it. But when you get in that street, that basic shit has a better chance of saving your life than that fancy shit. You're probably not going to like this video. I'm sorry. Thanks for watching.